I've been thinking about the 80s toy line Bone Age since I saw the commercial for it on YouTube. Created by the late great Kenner in 1988, Bone Age is a line of skeletal dinosaur toys that come with cavemen that can ride them. Just that alone would be pretty sweet, but Bone Age was even cooler, because the dinosaurs could be taken apart and reformed into things like vehicles, weapons, or even bases. An example would be Taro, who can be taken apart and reformed as a helicopter. Looking at the toy line through a modern day lens, it's pretty innovative and feels like an early form of BIONICLE or Construction toys in general. Bone Age had 9 different dinosaurs you could buy, from the armored ankylo to the towering T-Rex. You could also buy separate weapons and cavemen, but to be honest, this is where the line fails for me. There are 3 factions with 5 cavemen each in the toy line. They all have names like Grug and Torg, and they all look very similar. There doesn't appear to be any lore to go with these toys, besides the commercials and the packaging, but even those sources barely have anything about the story. Everything outside of the dinosaurs, including the generic caveman figures and lack of story, are probably the reason the line failed as badly as it did. It's a real shame because the toys are genuinely cool, and I would have liked to see how Kenner would have developed the line further. I will say sometimes you realize how macabre the concept is though. The bases especially make me think of like a twisted sci-fi movie. Collecting Bone Age in the modern age can be pretty difficult. The sets are made up of a ton of parts that can be lost, and the connection system uses 2-pronged clear connection tabs, which is kinda bad. In case you don't know, transparent plastic is way easier to break than solid plastic, and it usually doesn't stand the test of time very well. Since these connection tabs would be used a lot, you'll often find them broken on used Bone Age toys, which not only makes collecting difficult, but also means that if you want to keep your vintage toy in one piece, it's really not safe to take it apart and build the different forms. Collecting vintage is always tricky, but the main building system being so fragile doesn't help at all. I really enjoy Bone Age as a concept, and part of me wonders if the Transformers Kingdom fossilizers were inspired by the line, considering they are skeletal dinosaurs that can come apart and be combined. I also can't help but think that this line is so similar to Dino Riders, especially considering the cavemen are the same size as the action figures from that line. Bone Age feels like it could be a sequel, even though it came out in the same year.